Hey guys, and welcome to another video. My name is Julie, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about reaching the point where we start to question. The topic of questioning reality, what is real? And a lot of people today on the planet are questioning, and we're questioning politics, we're questioning the financial system, the media, history. We're questioning in generally what is real and what reality really is about. And even if you can say you're not on this spiritual journey in that sense, a lot of people can start to question just because of, you can say, the internet and how information is shared. You can see that the internet is a really fascinating manifestation because it's like the global mind is manifested on the global web. And in that sense, we're sharing thoughts and ideas across the whole world. And we can see that the paradigms that we held, the paradigms about reality, it's constantly challenged because there are all these new ideas through new technologies and new inventions. And also by people expressing different opinions and different, you can say, versions of reality. And many of us can more, you can say, in a deeper level, intrinsically feel that something is fundamentally false or fundamentally like a sense of not right about the world, like something is off or something is just not clicking fully. There's a sense of inauthenticity about the world, and we can sense it on a very existential level. And you can say that the illusion about the world is a thought manifestation, and it's usually shared collectively, especially within the same groups of people. So you can say within a country, you can say there's a culture and there's a collective mind in that culture. And when you're plugged into that, you're tapped into that, you can say that you're part of the collective frequency, because thoughts are really, I'm not going to say what comes first or last, because I'm not really sure, but you can say that thoughts matches energy, so energetic frequency. So you can say if you're matching the vibration of your culture, you're thinking thoughts that your culture thinks. And a lot of people, as we're awakening or as we're becoming aware of how we really feel, and we start to question things, and more people are, and that will create, you can say, a synergy that more people will also start to question, because we're all connected. And there are different ways of questioning. We can really feel that, we want to wake up in the sense of spiritual awakening. And for others, it's more about creating a new world or personal development, improving reality. And it can also, of course, all be connected. It's not divided necessarily in that sense. But when we start to question, we can also encounter a lot of doubt. Because reality, as we have learned to know it, especially for adults, and the older you are, maybe, the longer you have held certain paradigms about the world, the longer you have held certain beliefs about reality and about yourself. And to start to, maybe those might not be real. It's sort of like, it can feel like a free fall. It can feel like the ground you've been standing on is no longer solid. So it can feel like you're falling because there's nothing to hold on to. And that's why people are resisting a lot of, you can say, new things. Like people really resist, or some people especially, have a lot of fear to change their paradigm about reality. So they're usually they adopt to new things when the masses adopt, or maybe even later, and they're really resistant to people from other cultures, very resistant to new ideas in general. And you can say that we can be resistant to ideas because it intuitively feel like it's not really right. And there's also this fear element of changing the mental paradigm. It's all thoughts. It's all a cluster of thoughts that we have found some sort of, you can say, false security in, because we don't really know what this is. And we are conditioned to believe reality is a certain way. And if you have traveled and spent time in a completely different culture than your own, you will notice that people see the world a bit different than you if you go to a different place. because we're all humans, so they're very, like, some things are very fundamental and universal, and you can say other things are completely different. For example, in my culture in Scandinavia, it was a very strong focus on career and what I was working as or what I was studying. And when I went to Latin America, I noticed that for a really long time, like, nobody ever asked me that question. Nobody really cared about that. That was not really a focus amongst the locals, what my profession was. So I noticed that different things matter in a different way in different cultures. So that's just one example of realities being experienced differently. And we can start to question when we start to see like a hole in, you can say, in our reality paradigm. Something is not matching up or adding up. Or you can say that we gradually over time have gotten used to a different way of seeing things, or we are adopting with the masses. So as we're going through this, it can feel very destabilizing. It can feel like we are losing the ground we've been standing on. And it can also invoke a lot of emotions, like anger, for example. A lot of people have a lot of anger towards maybe things that have been or are unfair, for example, because we can start to feel the suffering of the world. So in that case, it's also, I think it's important to notice that when we start to question thoughts, notice them as thoughts, when we start to, you can see, learn, like you can go into the path of conspiracies. Just know that they are also a matrix in that sense. They're also, like, even spiritual matrices are also clusters of thoughts. And like, if you want to really know what's real, then experience yourself as awareness in this moment. So getting in touch with your direct experience through the 5 senses can be something that can be very helpful in a very destabilizing time when your paradigms of reality is crumbling or evaporating. So get in touch with the present moment, and not like the thought about your life in the present moment, but the real present moment, the here and now, before you think about it. So the primary or the source of your experience. You can call it presence, you can call it awareness, but it's really without thoughts. It's what already is. And it's probably not, even though we think the world is falling apart, it's probably not falling, unless you're in a burning house, it's probably not falling apart in your home right now or wherever you're watching this. So a lot of, you can see, thoughts that we carry are not actually happening now, most of them, really. So that can be a lot of stress that you can take off your shoulders, because you can only act in the now anyway. You can only be where you are anyway. So that's what I wanted to share today. I hope it was helpful. And for all of you questioning reality, you're not alone. And know that when we start to question like the fundamentals of life, that's when you can say we become more conscious or more aware, and we might also be going through an awakening. And with that, give it a thumbs up if you resonate with this content, and also leave me a comment to let me know how this is for you. And until next time, much love and namaste.